been hot enough to melt. So undifferentiated, what differentiation means, chemical differentiation, where the heavier stuff will sink to the bottom or to the center of the object, and the because these things are mostly spherical, right? And then the lighter stuff will be on top. So like, for example, we have an iron core, which is iron is heavy, but we have sand on the surface, right? So different chemical differentiation is something that we also see quite a bit in the rocky planets, of course, in the terrestrial planets. And if you have undifferentiated objects like these moons, then what that means is that they might not have been big enough, hot enough, because sometimes for something to be very hot, it has to have enough mass for it to be really hot. Like, for example, the sun is really hot and it has a lot of mass. It has 99.9% of the mass of the solar system, or something crazy like that. It might be 98.9 or 99.9, whatever, but that's how much mass the sun has of the solar system as a fraction. So, and it's very, very hot. It has obviously a nuclear reactor in its belly, which is how we get all the heat, light, sun, energy, all of that to be able to live on Earth. But basically, if you are not very big, you might not be very hot, which means that you might not have melted enough for your stuff that make you to be very chemically differentiated, where the lighter things are on top and the heavier things are in the bottom, okay? Which is the case with these moons, Phobos and Deimos of Mars. Fear and panic. Goodness. I do not want to associate with this planet. I am more of a Venusian kind of person, if you know what I mean. I'm more peaceful, harmonious, and loving, like a Libra. Gosh. Anyways, Phobos and Deimos both resemble asteroids. That's the other thing, is that asteroids are sort of sometimes undifferentiated, because asteroids are also kind of sort of like small enough where they're not that big and not that hot, and they never got that hot. So they might have cratering, they might have been hit, but they might not have been melty enough to basically have had differentiation, okay? Phobos is on an orbit with semi-major axis of around 9,400 kilometers. Which is about 2.76 the radius of Mars. Not only does this put Phobos inside the Roche limit, it also means that its orbital period is 7.7 hours, less than the orbital period of Mars. Since Phobos orbits from west to east, the same direction as the rotation of Mars, this means that future inhabitants of Mars, you guys who will live on Mars, will be able to see Phobos rise in the west and set in the east, while Deimos rises in the east and sets in the west. You're gonna have a moon at all times, my darlings, all times. You'll have either fear or panic in the sky, rising and setting, one after the other, okay? So once again, since Phobos orbits from west to east, the same direction as the rotation of Mars, which this means that future inhabitants of Mars will be able to see Phobos rise in the west and set in the east, and while Deimos rises in the east and sets in the west. So even Mars, by the way, has more than one moon, more than one permanent moon anyways, and that's pretty special. So if you move to Mars, which I highly recommend, highly encourage, well, I don't know if I recommend the planet, but I encourage a movement to Mars, you will have a moon more than here on Earth. No lack of moons. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, sometimes you might not be able to see one because of the sun now, would you? But I don't know. There's more moons there. One more moon. Okay? Should we focus on fixing Earth before spending billions exploring Mars? Now, as human beings, we do have a tendency naturally to explore. So I don't know if we can really stop the exploration, but we can also simultaneously try to fix the Earth. That's my politician answer. I'm not really a politician. But yeah, I would recommend that we always try to improve Earth, because this is our home planet and it is really nothing like anything else. I don't know if we can stop exploration, because that is the natural human tendency and curiosity, but we should always be kind to ourselves and the planet, and try to pick what's best for all of us and this home planet.